statement from you.
Yeah, it's obviously awesome that I get to be with these guys competing at least another day and feel good, competing the rest of this week with them. But it's always a lot of mixed emotions because when you sit here, either you lost and your season's over or you just eliminated somebody else. So you kind of, you're just sensitive. I got a lot of respect for Oregon State and really what they went through this year. Somebody did an awesome article on them and shared their traveling and their time in airports and delays and getting back at 5 a.m. And it was just, for a coach, it was very encouraging and challenging because, with the ACC, we now have some California schools and we didn't head out west this year, but we have to head out west next year. So I'll be turning a lot to what Oregon State did this year to kind of motivate our guys as to, how good and how special we can be if we continue our toughness. We talk about the hard, and this group's been through a lot of hard. These two of these guys are juniors. One's a junior, one's a senior. So they've been through a lot of hard the past couple years. And, Jake comes through the junior college ranks. So let's not act like he didn't have it hard either. But I never had a doubt. This guy to my left is just an absolute warrior. It's so much fun giving him the ball. And even though, he hasn't always won, he knows win or lose, we trust him. And we'll go down. I'll go down with him any day of the week. And it kind of symbolizes our pitching staff right now, how well we've pitched in the postseason and how tough we've been. And to the two hitters next to him, I thought today was our best offensive day from the get-go. I just thought a lot of quality at-bats. We were moving the baseball. I think one inning, they robbed 3 hits in 1 inning, which, again, credit to them. But I felt really good about our offense, where we were at. And like I said, man, we've pitched our tail off this postseason. So I'm really happy for this group.
We'll open it up to questions for the student athletes.
Alexis Cubitt, Louisville Courier-Journal. Eddie, during the Super Regionals, you talked about hearing the chants at Jim Patterson and what that meant to you. Where does the chants here in Omaha mean, and how does that rank in your career now?
It just never gets old. It's just something that I will never get used to. I'm just grateful that I'm in a position that I'm in, and I'm just I just want to take advantage of every moment I get. So just hearing a chance like that in a moment like that, it just, it warms my heart, and I'm so glad that it could be for Louisville.
Aaron Fitt, D1 Baseball. Tucker, that situation there in the top of the ninth, I mean, it was looking grim. They tied the game. There's an error, and it felt like there's a chance for that game to get out of hand. I'm curious about the conversation that you guys had on the mound and how you were able to kind of regroup and get out of that jam.
Oh, yeah. As soon as he came out, I thought he was taking me out. I was gonna get pretty upset. But he just came out and said, if you give up 1 or 2 runs, it's okay. We still get to hit in the ninth. We've done plenty of damage and late in the game. So, obviously, Alex, he's by far the best defensive shortstop in the country. So it'd be selfish of me to get mad at him in that situation. He's done plenty for this team. He's playing with a hurt hand, so kudos to him. But, yeah, so just trusting my team, trusting Coach Williams and the pitches he calls.
Mark Blankenbaker, ESPN Louisville. This is for Jake and Eddie. That sequence where Jake homered and then Eddie went to the wall on the ground rule double, what did that do for you guys mentally as a team that you guys can get the ball out and over that wall?
It just, showed us no matter where we play, whatever ballpark we're in, we can hit for extra bases and hit for power. But this team, we try to stay short for the most part, but, we have so many different weapons we could use, so that goes to show.
Yeah, I think for me at least, it helped free me up a little bit. Telling me that I don't gotta force something on the ground. That I could stick to my approach. And if I catch one well in the air, there's a chance it will go. So.
Wilson Moore from the Omaha World Herald. Eddie and Jake, just wondering if you get back to the dugout after that top of the ninth inning. Just how do you mentally reset, flush that, and go from there to score, win the game?
You got to reset as soon as you get the final out, but you just got to have a short mind frame or whatever. But I think we knew we were about to do something special, So I'm glad I could just come through for my team and just got to keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was pretty easy. We had the top of the lineup up. It was a tie game, so we just got to scratch across one. I think, that's easy for us to do, especially in these late game situations. And it's easy when you have a lineup like this. I struck out on a call I didn't like, and, I was upset about it. Did a little 360, saw Eddie, and then I said, oh, yeah, we're good. So that's kind of a special thing about this lineup.
Noah Beanick, 11.7. Coach, are you able to draw any similarities besides the outcome of this game to game one that you guys just played in the College World Series final? Top of the ninth inning, the team makes a comeback, ties it up. Bottom of the ninth inning, walk-off.
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre that, we kind of did that to Oregon State a couple days ago, and they walked us off, and they did that to us today, and then we walk them off. I guess it's, the value of being the home team. Like, sometimes people act like it's not that big a deal. It's amazing, when you get the last 3 outs and you get to walk somebody off. So, very fortunate that we were in that situation today. You knew they were going to make a rally there late. I mean, and we pitched so well. But, their best hitter, one of their best hitters, jumps on a heater, and then their other best hitter fights off a ball and it drops, and it's like, okay, yeah, you're in it here now. You're going to have to grind this out and earn it, and they made us earn it.
Mark on College Baseball Central. Coach, you guys were exceptionally well hitting today with 2 outs, and you guys were also great on the defensive side, stopping Oregon State from getting anything going all game with 2 outs. Can you talk a little bit about, does that go back to you guys' toughness you guys preach?
I hope so. Look, we got a shirt that hangs in the dugout. It's got kind of a few sayings for the year. It's got some things on the sleeve that I won't bore you with what it all means. But, our focus is on that number. That's the game that matters. And we give that shirt out at the end of the game, usually to you say an MVP, somebody who threw 6 shutout or somebody who hit 2 home runs. It's lots of times it's pretty obvious who the shirt's going to go to. I knew when Alex got on in the 9th, I said, we win this game, the shirt's going to Alex. Like, nobody felt worse than he did. And believe me, as his coach, I have to admit, I'm responsible for the way he attacks that ball. Like, I coach the infielders. We work on that. Like, bases loaded, how do you be aggressive, and you have to turn the double play. And so I feel awful as the coach. My star shortstop feels awful. And I'm just, obviously not wanting to lose this game for a lot of reasons, but man, there's no way I want Alex to blame himself. Just like Tucker said, the respect we have for that kid. So when you use the word toughness, like that, Alex Alisea is the epitome of toughness. And so, he leads off with a 3-2 walk, and then he ends up being the scoring run. And so I remember the diving play he made up the middle. And yeah, there's a lot of great shortstops in the country. I'm so impressed with college baseball and how good the shortstops are. I'm just thankful Alisea is our shortstop.
Andrew Idell, College Baseball Central. Coach, obviously tomorrow's not an off day for y'all. You got Coastal Carolina. How do you kind of just flip the switch, and after all the adrenaline today, how do you kind of flip the switch to Coastal tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy. I kind of laugh because, as a coach, you love to practice. So if I ask the guys on the bus, would you rather practice tomorrow or play Coastal Carolina? These guys want to play the game. And so, they're physically and mentally ready. And, yes, we talk about being professional and yeah, don't get too high, don't get too low. It's hard to not get high, with a walk-off in Omaha. But, we'll enjoy the bus ride back to the hotel, and we'll enjoy the crowd, the Louisville fans, outside the hotel, and that'll be awesome. But I'll make it clear when they get to their rooms and they shower, we have to turn the page. Just got so much respect for Coastal Carolina. I played against them as a player, and I coached against them as a player and a coach for 12 years, being at the Citadel. So I've known them very well. for a long time, and obviously what they did a few years ago with Coach Gilmore and what they're doing now with Coach Nall. It's so impressive in the way they play the game. So when you talk about toughness, man, we'll have a good matchup of two tough teams and grinding it out. But we're looking forward to that opportunity.
Dan, you've obviously had a lot of good hitters or coached a lot of good hitters during your career, but especially with, the College World Series appearances. But how would you just describe the kind of run that Eddie's on right now in terms of, especially this postseason?
I call it professional. I say it's a very professional hitter. He doesn't play in the smallest parks. He doesn't take advantage. It's a real hitter. I think he's going to play the game for a long time. It's a good outfielder. There's power. There's contact. I think the majority of his home runs are with 2 strikes. That's just the blessing of him having a roller coaster junior year, and you get him back for his senior year. We're reaping the benefits of having Eddie King in the lineup. And I always tell our guys, sometimes when you lose, you actually win. And I know Eddie thought he lost last year because it was a frustrating year. He didn't get it going till late. He didn't know if the draft was going to work out. And it's hard to not feel like you lost out with all those high expectations he had. But, lots of things happen in life, and you look back and you go, wow, that was really a blessing. So I feel like Eddie, what he went through in the postseason, right, the super regionals and the Eddie chance, and to get the Eddie chance in Omaha, we love to get our guys ready for pro ball, but pro ball is not going anywhere. Enjoy this as long as you can. But I'm so excited and optimistic about guys like him and Jake Monroe and Matt Klein. Man, these are professional hitters. Real hitters. I don't think they're abusing an aluminum bat or a small field. I think these 3 dudes can just flat out hit. And I think the 3 of them have a chance to play this game for a while.
Coach, in the going from the 8th from Schweitzer to Daniel Levitch, and then he gets in trouble, and you kind of make that approach where he's into an at-bat with 2 pitches, and you go to Bivin. What was the thought process there and the strategy to make that move? Yeah,
Roger Williams is super respectful, and lots of times he asks for my advice, which most of the time I wish he wouldn't even ask me, okay? Because I don't study it like he studies it. I'm not an expert the way he is. He's watching film after film. He's got all the at-bats. You're facing Oregon State. You're facing these guys. This is probably we're into double-digit at-bats for a lot of these hitters over the last 2 games. So, sometimes I'm just proactive, and I just get ahead of him because he's going to ask me, and I just say, Raj, I trust you. Just do what you want to do. And I was in alignment with, man, Jack Brown was good, and then Schweitzer was good. But, we had run Schweitzer out 2 innings the other night, and those 2 righties were coming up. All the righties, but those are the 2 righties that beat him the other night. And their splits are even favorable to righties. And so we just felt like Wyatt is a better matchup. Again, their star hitter ambushes a fastball. And then, like I said, we had to go through their 2 best hitters, and they just set the tone. And that's where you just look at Wyatt and, bouncing some breaking balls and just you're a little concerned about the look. And it's nothing against Wyatt, but you look down there and you got Tucker Bivin, right? And Tucker Bivin is the guy that walks up to Coach Williams, with his cleats on in like the 7th and says, I'm pitching tonight. Like, I'm ready. Just, I'm going down there. It wasn't like we told Tucker to go down there. It was, and like he said, he gets so mad if I take the ball out of his hands. It's not easy to take the ball out of his hands, but how do you not love that in a pitcher? And so the toughness that Tucker showed tonight, and that's why whoever wins the shirt, we say our prayer. After the prayer, you have to re-gift the shirt. It's called Help the Helper. So you might have been the best player on the field. You might have been the MVP of the game, but you're not going home with that shirt. You're then going to give it to somebody else, and you're going to thank them. And so I wanted to give it to Alex so bad because of what he went through and to make sure he knew, hey, you were the winning run. Like, we won because of you. And as much as he said, Eddie and Jake, I love you guys, he flips the shirt to Tucker Biven. And I just thought it was very fitting that Tucker walks away with the shirt.